This is Corrie. She's very quiet. So just we have a good time together.
Yes, that is true.
All right. So Corrie's, like I said, a lot of these patients have been patients who've been with us for a long time because I want them to give you guys their perspective on like what makes them stick with care, just to help you guys out. So with that said, Corrie, what patient number are you?
My patient number is 2852.
So she's been around just a touch. Remember, we're at like 7,800. We started with 0. So
I'm OG.
You're old gangster, baby. Old gangster.
Right.
All right. So let me start with this one. When did you start care? Well, we kind of just go with that. How bad was it, and how was it affecting your life and well-being at the time?
So it's been almost 12 years since I've been coming to see you.
Awesome.
And at the time I was 30 years old, and it feels so long ago.
35 now.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm only 35. And I had 2 little boys at home, and I was working with children on a daily basis, and I was getting to the point where I had just a lot of aches and pains and stiffness, specifically in my lower back, and I had a couple incidents or injuries, and I just couldn't seem to get past that, and it was affecting my daily life in my routine because I have little kids. I couldn't sit and play with them. I couldn't get up off the ground or carry my child or do some of the things I needed to for work without just feeling so achy by the end of the day. And I got to the point where, I'm not the type that rushes off to the doctor real quick. And yep. I was just super frustrated with not feeling progress. And so I was like, I got to do something about it. And my husband said, well, I think it's time that we go send you to see Dr. Stone.
So since you've been under care, and you've been under care for so long, I know you really came in for low back pain. How long did it take before you started to really notice things were starting to go?
Well, when you initially did the the beginning appointments and you went over my x-rays with me, I remember sitting in the office on my first kind of walkthrough. You put the x-rays up on the screen and you were like, I think you show former like hairline fracture in your L5. And I'm like, well, that makes so much sense. It was like a light bulb went off. Like, I knew exactly when it was. Like, I went down the water slide holding a 2-year-old and hit my tailbone and knew that was so much pain. And you had said, well, that's healed up, but there's still a lot of soreness around that. And I was like, okay, so that made sense to me. But then when you showed me, you walked through, like, I had curves and twists and compression. I was defeated by the x-rays, but I was encouraged because you were like, that's okay. Like we have a plan, and you kind of laid out, this is what we can do, and here's how we can fight that thing. Like yes, you did not win the genetic lottery, right? But we can fight that and not be setting records of brokenness.
Thanks, Corrie. It's amazing just to see so many things. Compression fractures happen at the time, but a lot of times, and you guys, I tell you this, make sure you put stuff on your website. I now include compressive fractures on my website because it has become such a prominent condition that comes up. And because
that was like, it would have been almost 6 months, maybe later than that I saw you, and it was showing up in the x-ray.
Yeah, and what will happen is gravity over time will start to cause it. And here you're showing this to this person, like you said, you're showing it to you, and at the same time you kind of go like, yeah, this is going to be a weak point, but what can we do to move forward? And that's when and just you guys having stuff in the office with your patients to sit there and explain it. Find your common conditions like piriformis and compressive fractures. And also, but this is so true, I've had a lot of patients say like, it's hard when you find out there's been stuff going on because symptoms finally come on down the road, and to find out that, and you understand the degenerative arthritis, but also to say, hey, I'm glad we caught it now. You're in your 30s, and now we can do something about this. Yeah.
So here I am 12 years later, and I'm not, I still have the same family genetics that I'm fighting against, but I'm being intentional about it.
And we're slowing it down.
Yes, and slowing it down.
And educating, and just not like letting the patient come in and go, oh, you got back pain, I'm going to take care of that, but here's what's been going on. So we give you guys the opportunity to understand it and then take care in your own hands.
And the way that you set that up and gave me the knowledge, kind of the education, you walked through what each of the things were. And when I would have quirky things like, I'm doing the stretches and I'm icing and doing these things, and then I would have like a flare up of something. And I remember one time you said, "Are you doing anything new?" And I was like, "Well, no, I started running because I'm gonna be in shape." And you looked right at me, and in love, you were like, "Corrie, you are not meant to be a runner." And I think I knew that already in my soul, right? But you said that, and you said, "And here's why: because of the way that your back and your compression and your joints and all that stuff." And so instead of just letting me walk out defeated of like, well, you can't do this thing, you'll never be in shape, you gave me I want you to power walk, I want you to do these stretches, I want you to ice, I want you to do more strength training. It was just different. You gave me other options and helped me really realize what I needed to know to kind of put myself in a different trajectory.
It's so nice to have patients that will take their health under controls, continue to educate, cannot say that enough. Educate, put the health in their hands. So has Stone Chiropractic also been a good resource regarding other health issues as they arise? Any examples? Do you have any advice for the students on how they can encourage their patients being more of a long-term, consistent patient? Is there any?
Yes,
this is your opportunity.
Yes,
Take
I
you.
do,
Okay.
because along with my back pain and just constantly doing the things I need to, I was coming in early on twice a week to get adjusted. I don't have to do that for maintenance care as much anymore.
Right.
But that around that same time was diagnosed with some other things that were very frustrating to be in my early 30s and dealing with. I have TMD, so my jaw muscles are always very tight, which very much was affecting my neck and my shoulders. And I remember telling you that and just being so frustrated. And you took the time, along with my adjustment, to do what I called very scientifically your jaw torture.
Yeah. Yes.
And you just worked the muscles along my jaw. But early on, that was so painful, but it was so necessary because that was really hindering a lot of things. It was causing headaches, it was causing spasms, and it was affecting my overall health and well-being. And so you took the time with that to walk me through it. I have since, after my third was born 8 years ago, I have dealt with chronic foot pain,
That's it.
arthritis, and tendonitis. I have chronic tendonitis, and you have been very helpful. That's something that I know now that I'm just going to deal with the rest of my life. But you adjust my hips and my feet. You have taken time to massage the tendons and really just take time to walk through some things that the other doctors didn't give me the listening ear and the time of day.
When you walk in an office, give me what you enjoy about the office, what you can give the students advice about. If you're going to set up your office, this is what you want to make sure, the positives, maybe regarding the atmosphere, what you're seeing, and then give us a couple of things, not to be negative, give us a couple of things that you want to make sure that they tell them not to do. So let's go there. What do you think?
Well, I would say first off, to create an environment that is welcoming, obviously, and but so a lot of people that are coming into a chiropractic office are people who are dealing with injury or chronic pain. Mm-hmm. And when people are in chronic pain, they're grumpy. Pain makes people harder to be around, and so and it makes people discouraged. And so even more so with people who are in chronic pain, if they're at that point, you want to give them a place where that they can feel welcomed, encouraged, and offer them hope, but not false hope. You want to be confident and competent in what you're doing and what you're offering, and to be able to advocate for you. I feel like in the medical community, it's so rare to find a doctor that will come alongside you and advocate for your overall well-being.
You got to learn how to bring people up, but bring them up not just with lip service, bring them up with understanding, visuals, so many visuals. And remember, doctor is Latin for teacher, and that's the best. And you could not have been a better testimonial for this.
That's awesome. I'm glad you. I mean, I had my own experience, which was really good, and then I brought my whole family on board. So now, I mean, I started as an individual patient. Now my family of 5 all comes, and we we do this regularly, and my kids aren't broken down yet, but I'm like,
we're slow.
still going.
We're gonna stop from breaking down.
Yep.
I appreciate it. This has been absolutely awesome. You guys, if there's any questions you have for me for Corrie, ask me. I'll make sure that I bring them to her. But thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Appreciate you, kid.